Welcome to the Steel Cage. Tonight, we're bringing you a review of WrestleMania. That's right. We got everybody on the panel tonight. We got Buds, Aaron, Murph, and myself, Mikey Names, of course, the host. And we're going to go through everything that happened tonight on WrestleMania. It was pretty good, I have to say. What was your overall impression, Aaron?
Brock doesn't lose, bro. That's what's on my mind right now. We're doing this right after the main event. It was a great pay-per-view, but man, just the Brock match is just on my mind right now. We'll talk about that a lot more later, but early on, all the matches was pretty impressed with the overall show. Some takeaways I liked, some dislikes, but overall, pretty good WrestleMania here.
Yeah, we'll go through each match. Murph, what was your just quick recap? What you thought about tonight?
I just thought it was an unbelievable pay-per-view event.
I agree.
That's all I'm going to say right now.
I agree. It was one for the ages. Buzz, what was yours?
I thought it was actually pretty good. I liked the Rollins cash in. I think they did it the right way, and I liked Rowdy Ronda too. I was really excited with The Rock. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was pretty good. All right, well, we're gonna run through each match just really quick. We don't want to make the video too long because there was a lot going on. So let's just get to kind of the pre-show first match, the Tag Team Championship. We had the Usos versus the Los Matadores versus Big E and Kofi versus Tyson and Cesaro. And, I mean, overall, I think they kind of rushed the first couple matches. I mean, it was decent. We had some high flyers in there. It was okay. What'd you think, Murph?
I thought it was good for what it was. I didn't really want Cesaro and Kid to get it back, but it is what it is. Good match overall. That's really it.
Aaron?
Well, I expressed my feelings on the tag team division on our SmackDown preview or review last week, but again, just overall, man, this tag team division needs some work, and just having a kind of no gimmick tag team as the champions, it's just not something that I'm really seeing working for them with this division. We need to get some better teams in there. Maybe some guys in NXT coming up. Not quite sure, but for a pre-show match, it was actually better than what I expected.
Buzz, do you think one of the Usos was actually hurt tonight? Or was he just going through the motions for the story?
I think he might have actually been a little banged up. I mean, they wrestle a lot of times. I also think that I thought the match was alright. I think when you mix all those different elements of wrestlers and different gimmicks, it's not always for a decent performance, even if it's not the greatest. And but yeah, I agree with Aaron with they definitely need. It's a very soft division. Even if they just pair up some guys that aren't doing too great on the show, sometimes that meshes well when they mix like two guys' gimmicks. They feed off each other okay. Not like Cesaro and Kid, but like a little bit more, better mid-card guy.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I agree. All right, well, let's move on. We got match 2 was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Big Show ended up winning this. I mean,
I'm very disappointed. Man, Axel.
Axelmania,
brother.
And let me make a point here. Cheap shotted. Took all of them to get him out. Axelmania, running wild. Everywhere. I still have faith.
Sorry, brother.
The worst.
They weren't having it. Then we had the third match tonight, which was a 7-man ladder. Ambrose, Luke Harper, Daniel Bryan, Stardust, Bad News Barrett, R-Truth, and Mr. Ziggler. And we ended up having Daniel Bryan fighting off Ziggler on the top of the ladder, which
Ambrose,
was crazy.
doing me dirty.
You're a little banged up, though.
I know.
A little banged up.
Probably
banged
highlight
up.
of that match. That looked pretty good.
Yeah,
Stardust's ladder wasn't too shabby either. What do you think, Aaron?
Didn't last too long there. Ambrose definitely got banged up a little, getting a power bomb outside the ring through a ladder when you see the way his back of his head bounced off the ground there. But as far as winning, Daniel Bryan, I mean, this just reminds me of his feud with Triple H, where Triple H was saying he's not an A-plus player, and that's why now he's an Intercontinental Champion. I'd like to see him get out of that racket there and move up to start wrestling again with the big boys, leave the Intercontinental Championship to somebody like Ziggy or let Dean Ambrose take that over. But overall, a great match.
That's a good point. Yep.
Definitely trying to glorify belts right now.
Yeah.
Definitely trying to make them all seem more prestigious than they usually are.
Absolutely. Well, they
can't
got to
blame
do
them.
something. They want
It's
to
not bad.
keep it going. They got to keep driving it. So, but
Good match, though. It was a good match.
it was a good match because this is, I think, when it started to get interesting. I think that's when it started to pick up a little bit. But because the next match we had Randy Orton and Rollins. And
Look at Murph already gritted.
I know we got a lot to say about Rollins, but I'm sure we're going to get there a little later on, based on the way it ended.
The match is irrelevant now.
Randy Orton is the best.
It
This
is.
is irrelevant. Randy
RKO's out
Orton.
of nowhere. J&J Security down for a total
Once
half
again,
hour.
your boy
The
Randy
entire
Orton.
match.
Mr. Irrelevant.
He's the best. He's going to make a name for himself again. He's going to come out, get the title from all these bums.
No, he's not.
He's going to RKO everybody.
Ooh,
Everybody.
Okay.
Maybe he'll be back in the shot now because, you could give Rollins a little
He's
whooping.
relevant again.
I don't know.
Oh,
They
Viper.
burned him. Yeah, the Viper. They're trying to make him relevant, but to me right now that was just a filler. Once we get to the end, but
Rollins.
Appetizers. A nice little
Yeah.
appetizer, I would say.
appetizer is right because then we started to get into the
But,
meat and
no, wait,
potatoes.
before we go any farther,
What?
that Rollins curb stomp to the RKO was impressive.
That was great.
Absolutely.
How
Yeah,
high in
shout
the air
that
he got. Randy Orton just out of nowhere.
That was
That's
great.
the best.
But yeah, so then match it was 5. We had Sting versus Triple H. I don't know if I agree with this. I don't agree if Triple H winning. I mean, I can see why they did it, but I don't think they should have did it. I think Sting should have came in and won his first WrestleMania.
I liked how DX and NWO came out. I wasn't expecting that.
No, they definitely had some twists and turns, Aaron.
It was bad.
It was good. I liked where they went with it. You had to bring some other elements into it because the match itself might have been a snooze fest due to the
I thought it was good.
out of ring time. But I'm saying you had to bring the other elements into it to make it more fan appealing.
You didn't think it was you didn't think Sting was kind of impressive?
He's been out of the ring for a while. I mean, he's not in the best of shape, but he is up there in age. He did wrestle well, yes, but I don't know. You had to have the other elements, and I don't know what they're doing with all these commercials here with The Rock pointing on it with Triple H coming
Can
on
we
like
go
the
back to
Terminator,
Shawn
man.
Mizdale?
It's just too commercial for me with that entrance. I'd like to see some more old school game entrances. I like last year's more, but just again, I was impressed with Sting for what he was and being away from the ring for so long.
I
So
didn't think Triple H was going to win. I thought he
Time
was
to
going to take the
create
loss.
the game.
I didn't think so either.
But yeah, it was a good match. Sting looked pretty good for 56.
Yeah,
Still got it.
still got
The
it.
Stinger.
Well, he'll be around. The Vigilante ain't going anywhere. And then we had Travis Barker and Skylar Gray, just filler, which
I
was
like Skylar.
snooze fest.
Anyways, you
Can
want
he-
to talk about that Diva
Yeah.
match instead of that content
Yeah,
they
and
put
then
on?
they came back and killed it with the Diva match, which was exciting. I guess they had Paige and AJ Lee. versus
AJ
the Bell-
Lee.
Yeah, basically versus the Bellas.
I'm so glad they lost.
I know.
I do love.
Shout
the
out to
Bellas.
Nikki Bella.
Shout
'cause
out to
she's-
Nikki
she's
Bella.
So sexy.
That was my highlight of that match, Nikki Bella.
And Pale Page.
Yeah,
Pale Page.
Pale Page. Woo! Then we had match 7 was for the U.S. title, which was Cena sucks
Oh, Cena's
versus
the
Rusev.
worst.
They just cannot get anybody like this guy, no
Like
matter
that
what
shirt.
they
You
do.
should have rolled that tank to the
He's
retirement.
got 15 Marine movies, and it's just
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
they can't do it.
I feel like every time he looks at that belt, he's just going to feel disgusted at where his career
I
is
do feel
going right
bad,
now.
though. They boo him a little too much. I mean,
Yeah, he
fights
does a
every
lot.
night. It's a little rough. They shouldn't boo him as much, but I mean, I understand where they're coming from. He's definitely. Oof.
He does a lot for the WWE, you know what I mean? Like
Cena's
charity,
for the
all that
kids.
stuff. Yeah.
He's just not for me.
But he still gets just booed.
He-
But
We
you
need, to
gotta,
see a,
for
we
me,
need to see the turn. We need him. We need him just to go back. So just
Overall,
fucking
he's
people.
Him
It was
being
a-
heel.
Some little couple kids are gonna cry. They
I
do.
it's just the U.S.
Get over it.
Championship. Meh.
pretty decent match though.
You go from
What- what's-
15-time world championship to U.S. champion. Just not a move I would want to make if I was him.
Still a decent wrestling match though. Wasn't bad. It
Still
was
a good match.
It was good, minus that ridiculous.
And I
entrance.
did
Both of
miss Lana. So it was good to see Lana
Great to
back.
see Lana
Great
ringside,
to see
huh?
Lana ringside.
Yeah. We
Couple
want
Lana chants tonight during the match.
We
Do we
want
think?
Lana.
Do we think Lana's gonna flip
I hope so.
and go
We
somewhere
should
else?
drop the accent too.
Poor Lana. I hope she's all right. She took quite a
Yeah.
bump.
Yeah, if you need that ankle looked at.
He says.
Shout out to Lana at Steel Cage Reviews.
Shout out Nick Mundy.
Yeah, so always. And then
Shout out Terry Reynolds.
Yeah, true.
then we had my favorite part of the night. I wouldn't say it was my OMG moment, but I would say that it was my favorite part because we had Triple H come out with Stephanie, and then The Rock and Ronda Rousey. That was
Woo!
yeah, that was exciting to
That
say
was
the
great.
least.
She's the best. That hip toss on Triple H, perfection. Definitely didn't want none of that.
No. Nope.
But
Would
then,
like to see a rock bottom.
oh, that would have been unbelievable.
Ronda Rousey throwing the rock bottom would have been incredible.
But Just to point out with that, me and Buds here were talking offset. We were talking about how they do a lot of cross promotion now with UFC and WWE, and a lot of acting like they don't like each other or the two companies don't merge well. But we're seeing a lot of MMA and UFC coming along here with the WWE, so that's probably something to keep an eye on. And Buds, I don't know if you have a take on that as well.
I like it. I think they've always done that. I think they've always had a little in each other's back pocket type of thing going on. They act like they have no involvement at all, but it's plain to see that it is. Dana White tweeted something out. Did you state that?
They're fans of each other.
Yeah, of course.
They like
I
it.
like it.
I'll look at my phone now. Twitter's blowing up.
Next we had, we were getting to the end, we had the Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt, which was just a crazy match, I have to say. We had Undertaker winning.
Shout out to San Fran for not getting dark.
Yeah, exactly. That
Stay
was
light out for the match.
I couldn't tell you how many times I looked at that sky open. It was going to be Doc Phillips' entrance, both of them. And I said before to Murph, before the thing started up, I said, who would have the better entrance, Bray or Undertaker? I think Bray might take it. I wasn't feeling the Undertaker. They didn't wow me.
The atmosphere just didn't do the Undertaker's entrance any
You have
justice.
two guys of the night.
He looked good though.
Fighting in the day.
He looked a lot better than last
The
year.
Bray Wyatt call, the crawl, the Undertaker sit up.
That was good. That was nice. That was nice for TV. That was a good.
Good to see the Undertaker get back on his horse. Hopefully we'll see him again. They had the quote saying, "Hey, is this him for a gunfighter with his last stand, or a gunfighter coming back for some more damage?" So we'll see if he returns. Something to keep an eye on. I'm sure the rumor mills will be turning after this.
Oh, absolutely. Then we have the last match, which was obviously the most controversial, to say the least, which was Roman versus Brock, and Rollins coming in at the end, cashing in Money in the Bank.
I think we all knew he had to cash in, but not that way. I
didn't see that coming.
I see it coming. I think everybody did. That's the thing why I didn't see it coming, because it was very predictable, but I like the way they did it.
We called it here at this panel. If you go back into the tweets, I think we've had a lot of discussion about how we thought this was going to end, and a lot of it pertained to Rollins cashing in. My whole thought on it is, when you cash in the Money in the Bank, I thought you had to cash it in on the champ. I didn't think you could cash it in, create a triple threat match, and not pin the champion. So that's something I'm a little upset about. And plus, I don't like to see Brock lose and not being pinned. So I'm not sure this isn't going to sit well with Brock. And I wouldn't want to be Rollins in that rematch, I'll tell you.
Exactly. I thought for sure we were going to see a Heyman turn. A little part of me wanted to see it just for make better television.
I agree.
And I'm a Heyman guy, so I would ride with whatever he does.
I think it's no question that we're all Heyman guys over here. But
take away from that is, man, they just can't push Reigns up to the fans as much as they try.
No, they did all right. The match,
I heard a lot of boos. A lot of boos.
Yeah, but they got behind him a little bit at the end. They wanted to see him at least fight back. I mean,
I think
the domination that Brock had seen him in previous pay-per-views.
More of a pity, I
that
feel, for him,
I think
man.
that was. Oh,
Brock was going to town. That headshot that Brock took to the pole, man.
That's the thing too. Like, he got split open off the rip.
yeah,
What's up with that?
exactly. So, all right, well, everything was pretty good, I have to say. Let's do this real quick. Let's go around, and out of 10 in WWE history, what would you say this ranks? 1 through 10.
Scale rating?
Yeah.
I'll go first. I give it an 8.5.
All right. Murph?
Yeah, I'm right around an 8.5, teetering on a 9.
Okay.
Tiptoeing.
Buds?
Give it 7.5, 8.
Salty, real
Not that
salty.
great. What's so great about it? Think about it.
You haven't been able to tell he's the heel on the panel.
Let's discuss. I don't understand.
I'm going to give it like an 8.3 out of 10.
There's no
I
wow
thought it was good.
factors. The lot of matches, they were. What did you see out of a lot of matches that you haven't seen in any other ones? Nothing tonight really stood out.
Well, I mean,
There was a couple surprising
wow
ones.
factor.
putting Ambrose to the ladder, the suplex
That
from the top of
was
the
it.
ladder.
That's the one I said earlier. That was it. Besides that, we didn't get much.
I mean, the Taker Wyatt match is obviously epic. Sting,
Pretty
Triple H
boring
with those guys coming at 8.5.
Yeah, there was some good moments.
Ronda
but-
Rousey, like you said, no one
Exactly.
really thought she was just going to come out in the
I
ring.
thought that was like a time killing slot. That was
Triple H got his ass kicked twice in one night, you know.
I would have been under an 8, but with The Rock coming out, that got me going, and then that pushed it back to where it was. But again, it wasn't the greatest WrestleMania by any means, but it's better than some that I've been seeing recently. And like I said, I'm solid around an 8.5 here. So I mean,
So it was just
stuff to
what
work
would be
on.
a favorite match of the night?
What would be my favorite match? I would have to. Ooh, that's a tough call. I really enjoyed the Undertaker match. I have to say, I think that was a really good match. I didn't expect that much out of Undertaker from what I seen last year, and he came out and surprised me.
Yeah, he did the walking on the ropes.
Yeah, I mean, he came out pretty good.
That was a good match. I like the Randy Orton match. Two good wrestlers. Randy Orton's my man.
This
He's
guy.
a fight
Christ.
for-
What's up with this guy?
It was a
This
good
kid,
match.
man.
That was a good match.
It was a
And the
decent
Taker
match.
match was a good match
It
too.
was well
Yeah.
done.
Sting match. It was.
As much as I despise the ending of the main event, I'll take the main event because that's something I wasn't seeing, and it was just nice to see Brock just reign supreme until Rollins
Yeah,
decided to come.
Brock
and
should-
What's
cash
up with
in.
him bleeding
Brock
so
should
much?
never lose the
Why is
belt.
your man bleeding so much?
Brock should
Why
never
is your
lose
man
the
getting
belt. I
cut
agree
so
with that.
easy?
Brock, there should be no reason for him to hand that off ever. He's the dominant one.
That's it. But we'll
Brock can't be beat one-on-one in a fair match.
No.
No, but I also thought they should have, like, if you're going to take Brock out, you might as well bring out, like, an ambulance, one of them tanks that
He
Russo rolled in,
wasn't. He
roll him
wasn't
over,
even pinned.
and then have him pinned, I know that's what they do. They have him roll out of the ring, they sell it nice. But at the same time, I mean, I like the way I like the Rollins cash in, because Rollins always puts on good matches, so either way, it's going to brew up something.
Well, more to be discussed.
That's it. But, all right, that's going to do it for us. We're fresh off WrestleMania 31. It was a great night.
Quick podcast. for
Quick
WrestleMania.
podcast just to go through everything. But you're going to hear more from us soon. Be sure to check out our round 2 of the finisher bracket. And we got Raw tomorrow night. We'll be reviewing that, and SmackDown, so we got a lot going on.
Which I will have some input in, because I do not agree with that bracket.
But we'll go from there and see what happens. So make sure to follow us on Twitter at The Cage Reviews. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube, and we appreciate you guys listening. Thanks.